Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
The fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow? Is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that white woman...
Picture a sitting congresswoman claiming that a black politician is whitewashing simply because he married a white woman. That's exactly what unfolded when rising Democratic figure Jasmine Crockett faced backlash over comments she made about Florida Representative Byron Donald. She went so far as to suggest that his views on race and history were inaccurate solely because of his marriage.
First they cursed, now they thirst for blood. Jasmine Crockett is upping her temper tantrums, now saying the only way Democrats can win elections is by throwing hands.
I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. It's Ted Cruz. This dude has to be knocked over the head, hard, right? There is no niceties in him.
Everything spiraled when a video of her outburst went viral online. The lights of late-night commentary studios flicked on. Across national television, Jasmine's image dominated the screen. She appeared more intent on tossing provocative opinions into the spotlight than on defending her community or pushing for meaningful change. Even that shocking behavior wasn't the worst part. What made it worse was that she kept insisting on her stance throughout this unusual and tense period.
Literally, it's because you married a white woman and so you think that whitewashing.
That's not very woke, is it? Of course, Crockett isn't the only Democrat who's opposed to interracial marriage. So, Dana, Governor Hot Wheels, she claims that it had nothing to do with the fact that he actually moves by wheels in a wheelchair, and he's good looking.
Chaos erupted. No apologies, no way to rewind. Once it hit the internet, the conversation couldn't be contained. Memes, debates, and sharp takedowns spread like wildfire. People weren't just angry, they were baffled. How did a congresswoman shift from championing civil rights to framing an interracial marriage as a betrayal? Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us grow and share more compelling stories. Now back to the story. This wasn't an isolated moment. Greg Gutfeld was ready to turn it into one of the most heated political debates in years, marking the beginning of a much larger spectacle that would unfold live on television.
For Michelle Obama's When They Go Low, We Go High, Crockett went as low as humanly possible by mocking Governor Greg Abbott for being paralyzed.
We in these hot Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot...
Jasmine Crockett found herself in the spotlight once again. But this time, it wasn't just a viral clip making waves. Greg Gutfeld was waiting on live television, armed with a barrage of sharp quips, sarcasm, and edgy humor. There was no room for subtlety. Crockett stepped into the TV spotlight as if auditioning for a sketch on Saturday Night Live. Gutfeld didn't hold back. From the moment she spoke, he zeroed in like a heat-seeking missile. There was no playful teasing or polite disagreement. Her talking points were shredded like tissue paper. Every dramatic statement, every extravagant moment was twisted and flipped into comedic gold.
Richard, I don't know about you, but I want to see way more of Jasmine Crockett. I want to see her everywhere. I think she is the perfect face of the modern Democrat Party. What say you?
I do think that there are a lot of Democrats that really like Jasmine Crockett. But let's be very clear here, and let's acknowledge that the name calling is on both sides of the aisle. Everybody does it. It gins up the base. I mean, I think we can go through Donald Trump's greatest hits of name calling, and we can go blow for blow. And I think
to be fair, Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake.
It wasn't just jokes. Crockett oscillated between the star of her own unintentional sitcom one moment and a serious politician the next. Behind the political veneer, Greg exposed all the drama, the smug smiles, the tantrums, the exaggerated pauses. Jasmine seemed to be performing rather than answering questions. Minute by minute, Greg dismantled her points, turning every clip into viral ammunition. This wasn't a debate. It was a spectacle. Viewers weren't just laughing at the jokes. They were stunned by how swiftly he tore her apart. It felt like a disastrous open mic night, and every time she tried to reclaim control, things only unraveled further.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Whoa.
And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So,
Now she claims that she wasn't talking about Abbott's wheelchair at all. Yet she's mentioned Abbott's wheels before. In 2022, she posted Beto's rolling around the state. Where's Abbott rolling to? And according to the Washington Free Beacon, Crockett also liked several Facebook comments referring to Abbott as Hot Wheels back in.
While Gutfeld stayed calm and collected, Crockett spiraled further, producing nothing but noise and losing any sense of a coherent point. The real jaw-dropper came during her outburst. She threw herself into it, abandoning any script, and her anger was unmistakable. More than irritation, it was full-blown rage. She started shouting about violence, even suggesting that Democrats might have to resort to it to win elections. Yes, she actually said that. She went so far as to propose that physical altercations could settle political disputes. Live on air. When Ted Cruz was mentioned, she didn't hesitate. He needs to be knocked over the head hard. There was no metaphor there. She seemed to mean it. The question on everyone's mind, was this a street fighter on TikTok or a sitting member of Congress? The entire set froze. She spoke with the energy of a locker room pep talk, not a political discussion. Her words were chaotic, lacking tact or self-control. By that point, Gutfeld didn't even need to crack a joke. Crockett's performance was writing itself. Her fury, combined with the chaos she unleashed, turned what should have been a serious debate into a spectacle of pure frenzy.
They are so lost, and they just have no idea how to come back. They're cursing, they're fighting, they're burning. They're lost. I said it months ago. The party is over. They've got to come up with something new. And this woman chasing a guy that's New York City. That's a subway.
They were lost, confused, and completely off course. Chaos reigned, foul language flew, tempers flared, and metaphorical fires burned out of control. Months ago, I predicted it. Celebrations end, and suddenly everyone scrambles for something fresh. Enter Jasmine Crockett, navigating a New York City subway of spectacle rather than politics. It quickly became clear this had nothing to do with policy. Her goal was drama, virality, and spectacle. She didn't come to discuss ideas. She came to perform. Masks off, she entered swinging, literally and figuratively, prioritizing theatrics over clarity, attention over substance. Greg Gutfeld immediately saw through it. Rather than tossing out a few witty remarks, he dissected her like a technician fixing a broken machine, calmly exposing how none of her points made sense. Greg amplified precision while Crockett amplified volume. Her statements were like expired leftovers, handled as though destined for the trash. He labeled her style, C-SPAN cabaret and TikTok improv, a perfect fit. She wasn't arguing, she was performing. Every hand gesture, gasp, and exaggerated pose resembled someone auditioning for reality TV rather than attending Congress. The internet took notice. Is Congress now a talent show? There was no policy substance. Glitter and fog machines replaced facts. Everything Crockett did was about exposure. Who would trend first? Who would go viral? Then came the videos that confirmed the absurdity. Standing confidently, Crockett mocked Texas Governor Greg Abbott's wheelchair, even calling him Governor Hot Wheels, leaving viewers unsure whether to laugh, gasp, or run. She publicly derided him, brushed off criticism, and flaunted posts she had liked mocking his mobility. Greg didn't need to embellish. The clips spoke for themselves. Crockett played the victim while showing obvious disrespect. This wasn't political critique or satire. It was cruelty disguised as sarcasm. Even more unnerving, she smiled through it. For a politician already known for branding chaos, this was a new low. Her true talent was turning serious topics into full-blown improv sessions. Infrastructure, border security, taxes, none of it mattered. 1 minute she'd lecture on oppression, the next she'd snap her fingers like a spoken word artist. Greg aired clip after clip showing her treating hearings as open auditions, improvising with no direction. Every podium became a stage, every discussion a display of jazz hands and chaos. Watching her felt more like TMZ than C-SPAN. The history books themselves seemed to cringe at the spectacle. Crockett wasn't there to educate or advocate, she was there to go viral. Every platform became a stage, every stage a failure. Whether her points made sense or not, she was camera ready. Greg leaned back, letting the absurdity speak for itself. She projected seriousness and authority, but every appearance resembled a late-night comedy skit. One moment pounding the table for justice, the next delivering a monologue like a motivational coach, arguing with her own reflection. A congressional office wasn't necessary for Jasmine Crockett. She didn't need a podium, she needed a stage, fog machines, and an audience ready to applaud her every gesture. She brought the energy of TMZ to a space meant for leadership and legislation. Every nod, every polite clap from someone in the background only added to the surreal atmosphere. Greg Gutfeld called it a trance, a room of people too hesitant to admit that nothing she said made sense. Certainty collided with confusion. She didn't argue, she performed. Every abrupt hand gesture, gasp, and pose was theater, not debate. Greg clarified one thing. This was no longer politics. Crockett was the star in a Congress-turned cabaret. He wasn't roasting anymore. He was diagnosing, carefully dismantling the chaos in real time. Her brand was loud, stylish chaos, marketing disguised as advocacy, just enough spectacle to trend, just enough ambiguity to avoid responsibility, and total disregard for facts. Greg likened it to a cat chasing a laser pointer, fast, erratic, and mesmerizingly aimless. Every word sounded like a fire drill, with confusion, mayhem, and an audience hoping it would end soon. She leapt from issue to issue without resolution and blamed the surroundings when things didn't make sense. Yet she took herself seriously, convinced she was speaking truth to power. And somehow, people bought it. It wasn't luck. It was a formula. Crockett didn't discuss policy. Broadband, potholes, historical monuments all became stages for identity politics and personal drama. Greg noted her ability to act out criticism rather than respond to it, creating theatrical gasps, extravagant hand gestures, and fake emotions. He compared debating her to playing chess with a pigeon. She squawks, knocks over every piece, and struts around like a winner. She wasn't there to clarify. She was there to perform. Each hearing was a costume change, each camera a mirror, each argument another opportunity for cosplay. Congress became a stage, and Crockett, the unchallenged star. She didn't read bills. She grabbed microphones, cranked up the volume, and delivered full-fledged diatribes. She accused Clippy of patriarchal oppression, deconstructed paperclip privilege, and leapt from one absurd metaphor to another. Healthcare could become digital oppression or racism in asphalt. Alaska might border Portugal. She doubled down, crossed her arms, and looked deadly serious. Greg observed, shaking his head. She needs a translator, not a staff. Her analogies required a GPS, and she never wavered from her position, no matter how absurd. With a microphone, a seat in Congress, and applause from the audience, Crockett had the tools to mesmerize and mislead. The final straw came when she declared, "America needs immigrants because, in her words, ain't none of you trying to go inform right now." Laughing as though it were a joke, Greg froze the screen. Did she truly mean foreigners should take over jobs because Americans were too lazy? Yes, the mask dropped. This wasn't advocacy. It was arrogant, performative spectacle. And yet, the audience cheered. Self-assurance became her weapon. Loud, wrong, and arrogant replaced experience or knowledge. The show didn't stop. Greg reclined, witnessing the most bizarre talent show imaginable. Crockett was stage crew, pyrotechnics, headliner, and backup dancer all in one. In one press conference, she mislabeled 3 government agencies, botched a policy argument, and even accused the Constitution of deceiving her. Greg paused after each gaffe, amazed at the chaos. It wasn't a few mistakes, it was a verbal demolition derby. Bumper cars without brakes, phrases colliding, transforming a simple 5-minute discussion into a tangle of confusion, applause, fury, and metaphors. Yet she remained earnest, fully committed to her performance. The goal: confuse the audience, heighten passion, and hope no one noticed that nothing she said made sense. Greg laughed not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd it had to be real. Instead of solving problems, Crockett put them on a stage, changed their costumes, and turned every press conference into a Broadway meltdown. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you at the next one.